podcast for life.
Doggy Charles. Yeah. Let's go. Yeah. The microphone messiah. Yeah. It's the microphone messiah. And Mr. No Days Off. Microphone messiah. Mr. No Days Off. Phil, Brandon, what's good, y'all? Let's go. Bullet Cast host. Look, this is the time for us to be great on podcasts. Let you know this is the time and how the vibe lasts. This is the feeling of time and when we on it. You know we got no time for no opponent, just the feeling. This is the time of the greats on everything that we say. You know we about getting paid. Every opinion of wrestling. You know we got the truth in it. Every time you know that we on, this is the movement. You know the Bullet Pass podcast been on. You know the time we on, the feeling. This is the time of dealing.
Yo, what's going on, ladies and gentlemen? It is I, the microphone messiah, Phillip. I'm joined by Brandon Tanguma and Marlee. What's going on, guys?
What's up? As the only, I guess, healthy one here, I will talk so much, much more than I normally do. I never am long-winded, but I guess I have to be long-winded on this episode.
Godspeed. Yeah. I'm sorry, starting. Survivor Series recap. Brandon, go to it.
Well, it's a Survivor Series recap. Sorry, War Games recap. And, since we have two War Games matches, we have to start off with one. And we had the women's War Games match of whatever. I mean, they didn't have special names, but you know who's in it. All the baby faces, all the heels. For some reason, because the baby faces started the match, the baby faces had the advantage. Nia Jax, they decided to have Nia Jax wrestle the entire match to somewhat, even out the odds. And that was a decision. It wasn't a good decision, but a decision nonetheless. And the baby faces do win with a pinfall because submit and surrender apparently isn't a thing anymore. And Rhea Ripley puts Liv Morgan through a table, pins her 1, 2, 3, and there you go. I thought this match was just not great. And the epitome of why you should not have two War Games matches, because it was just a bunch of spots and weapons for the sake of spots and weapons.
What do you mean? Didn't you hear the pop when Rhea took off her mask?
Well, it was the opening match, so usually the crowd is going to be hot and pop for everything. And I think that also hurts the...
That's not true.
The men's War Games match later in the day or later in the night when you're having these weapon spots and the crowd's already seen it, they're a little bit numb to it, and I don't think it gives it that extra oomph that it could have.
But it's the bloodline. You should pop for all of the bloodline.
Well, I mean, it was a Canadian crowd, so I would say that crowd kind of sucked, but that's just me.
The fact that we didn't have the Canadian Dream on this show in Canada, a travesty. Marlee, what are your thoughts on the Women's War Games match?
It was fun, but it could have been better because there were a lot of spots for the sake of having spots, but it just looked like everybody was having fun, at least in my opinion. They're just kind of just felt like all the storylines were thrown together in one match because you got the Rhea and Liv stuff and then the Nia Tiffany and the spot where Tiffany almost cashed in. It's kind of just like that was not the time or place to tease it, in my opinion, because it's like you got kind of other big things going on.
Not even that, just how would it work?
Yeah, you got a whole War Games match going on, but not the time or place. But the spot with Tiffany and Io, the moonsault, that was pretty cool.
Very nice of Tiffany to wait that entire time, so then they synchronized their jumps off the top of the cage. That was very, very cute of them.
Well, yeah. Tiffy don't do nothing ugly. Everything got to be pretty. Come on now.
Yeah, it was fun. Just a spot fest. It could have been better, but I think it was just for the sake of everybody knew what was coming for the main event. That was kind of just like, here you go.
Yeah, again, I still believe they could have had a traditional Survivor Series match with the ladies, but it's neither here nor there. They went out there, they took care of the business. They got to where they needed to get to. Rhea Ripley pins the Women's World Champion, so I'm sure she's going to be expecting a title shot somewhere in the near future. Looking past Saturday night's main event. Next match on the card.
We had the U.S. title match, LA Knight taking on Shinsuke Nakamura. This one was relatively quick, under 10 minutes, and Shinsuke Nakamura is your new United States champion. Shinsuke, relatively new on the scene, debuts with his Anakin Skywalker / Great Muta look, and he beats LA Knight in a okay match. It was more of the story of kind of putting over Nakamura. They said that LA Knight was rattled, which is why he, blew the jumping to the top rope spot, which he rarely hits perfectly, and he dropped the title on his way to the ring. So we're just gonna definitely, those were all real, and they were not covering for him. That's all planned.
Yes, everything counts in this day and age. Do you not watch the product? Everything counts.
Everything counts.
Congratulations to Shinsuke, 3-time US champ. Listen, hopefully he doesn't get shoot pinned in his first defense like he did the last time he was US champion, which led R-Truth to have a lengthy run. Listen, Shinsuke needed this. If there was a title to change hands on this show, it needed to be this one in this match. You can't just have Shinsuke come back and lose and lose and lose. So kudos to him. Glad he's finally got something. And LA Knight, he's great at the chase. The babyface is always great at the chase. So let's see what happens with this and moving forward. Marlee.
I honestly think that spot could have went to Carmelo and Andrade, because what was the point of the best of the 7 if neither of them really succeeded in getting a title shot? But congrats to Shinsuke.
They got a title shot in Saudi.
Yeah, but I mean, they could have had anybody else. I mean, we've seen Shinsuke win the U.S. title before, so it's kind of like, okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it was all right. It's just something we've seen twice before, so it's like,
Something we haven't seen twice before is this triple threat match for the Intercontinental Championship. Braun Breaker, Ludwig Kaiser, and Sheamus. Yeah,
went 14-25. Braun Breaker retains, pinning Sheamus, which I think I said it last week. That was the pick I would have made, of having Sheamus take the pinfall here. And this was, I think, my favorite match of the night. Not exactly close. Just, fast, hard-hitting, fast-paced action for nearly 15 minutes. It was a good time, even though the finish, or at least who was going to win, walk out with the title, was never really in doubt.
Marlee, what are your thoughts?
I feel like we could have gave Sheamus his Grand Slam, but it was a decent match.
Yeah. There was at one point, I think before, like a ref got pulled or something. Like people sounded like they would have been okay with it.
Yeah, it would have been better if Sheamus got his Grand Slam, but I'm not mad at the outcome. I'm not mad at the match, because all 3 of them put on a really great performance. I'm really impressed by Ludwig Kaiser as of late. Like, he's really proving himself outside of Gunther, to me at least. But yeah, no, I enjoyed this triple threat.
If Sheamus is going to win it, I feel like make it a singles contest. Give him and Braun, or whoever the champ is, give him 15 minutes. I'm talking bell to bell, not just entrances. 15 minutes bell to bell, and let them just go. But this
squabble up.
Absolutely. I mean, this was fun. This was incredibly fun. Braun Breaker, just a dog. Roof, roof, roof.
Eat.
Yeah, definitely leading into that quote unquote tweener role that everyone keeps saying, since he's, I guess a heel outside the ring, but when he wrestles, he's much more like a babyface.
Wait, I really need Braun Breaker and Jameis Winston in a room together.
Well, Phillip doesn't know who that is. He doesn't observe our king, Jameis Winston.
He doesn't get it. I don't even watch football. Oh, you have to see the clip.
Somebody send me the clip.
Sidebar, I got you.
I mean, there's too many Jameis Winston clips. We'd be here all day. We were on a strict 40-minute time limit, and we'd just be here all day watching Jameis clips.
Yeah, I got to find the specific one. But yeah, him and Braun Breaker in a room, I would love to hear that conversation.
While Marlee searches for this clip, there was a world title defense. Am I correct?
That's what I've been told, and it was Gunther taking on Damian Priest. Gunther has allegedly lost all of his aura, but he continues to win. He beats Priest here in 1920. really heavily on the shoulder injury, quote unquote, of Damian Priest, selling it in kind of like 3 different instances where he thought he was like legit hurt, and he stumbles to the outside, hurts his shoulder, pops it out or whatever, and Finn Balor comes in out of nowhere, hits the coup de Gracie, and Gunther hits a power bomb and pins Priest for the win. I thought it was a fine match, nothing like special. Just kind of like what we've seen now with Priest in these kind of world title matches. They're fine.
Was it better than SummerSlam?
I mean, I think you could say it's like very similar to SummerSlam, where they have like some decent action, and then Finn gets involved at the last second. So I think they're very comparable in almost the same type of match.
Was the action better than SummerSlam, or was it just the same?
I mean, I've only watched that match once when it was live. And I think in the moment, I mean, if you go back to my recap, I was not high on SummerSlam, but I think I liked that match probably more than many of the other matches, but it also tapped into the theme of the night, which was terrible finishes on a major show, which wasn't the case here. We got what? Pretty much clean finishes outside of this one.
Yeah.
Good job, everybody.
Yeah. 1 out of 5. Marlee, you have any thoughts on this?
It was very similar to the SummerSlam match. I didn't really notice any difference. We kind of just ran it back.
Well, we're going to be getting to something a little different as Saturday night's main event. We'll talk about that here in a second. The main event, Bloodline versus OG Bloodline.
Featuring CM Punk and Bronson Reed.
Yes. Big Bronson Reed. How did you feel about the little NFL gimmick that they did? Tsunami State, huh?
I mean, it was very gimmicky.
University.
It was almost. I mean, it's if you've seen the Key and Peele sketch, it basically sounded like that, which is making fun of those.
From I Love You Solo. Got my degree in prayer hands.
Oh boy, prayer hands. Yeah, he has a prayer hands doctorate, PhD. Come on now, don't stop playing with big O's. But the match.
It was a long one, 41 minutes, 55 seconds. It was interesting just based off entrances because, politically just how they played that up. Jay is the last person entered because he, comes through the crowd and stuff like that. Was it Jay taking on Tama Tonga to start, and then they went through the match. Very melodramatic, which would be kind of the theme for a lot of Roman Reigns and Bloodline stuff, with Roman and Punk kind of eyeing each other up. The whole, oh no, you're not gonna go, you're gonna go. Okay, Roman's gonna slowly step out of the cage, but then CM Punk just runs right by him and gets out, and kind of some of the forced drama or forced tension I thought was a little bit over the top. And then we get the War Games matches, which you need to get every single match of, one team on one ring, another team on the other ring, and then they collide in the middle and they fight and throw hands wildly and stuff. And I think we should probably stop in every company and every type of match of jumping off of the top of the cage. Edge broke his leg. Jimmy apparently broke his toe, and Bronson Reed shattered his ankle. So I know we've been up in the stakes recently, which let's stop, and let's also stop jumping off of cages because it does not end well.
Yeah. It's the impact coming down. I don't know if you have to tuck your legs more. I mean, I'm gonna be honest, I'm not doing any of that stuff. So yeah,
You won't even see me on the top rope, let alone the top of the cage. Second rope, maybe, but
I saw Marlee climb the top rope once.
And that once and only once.
That's a high she does not want to feel.
No,
at all. Yeah, a lot of melodramatic stuff with Punk and Roman. The wise man coming out at the very end, or when the match started or whatever. All in all, Solo took all the finishes: super kicks, haluva kicks, go to sleeps, spears. I saw Sam Roberts did a recap. He said Solo was basically Denzel in Training Day. King Kong ain't got nothing on me or whatever.
he might have been Denzel in Gladiator too.
The single tier?
No single tier, but spoilers without context.
Come on now. Yeah, so that happened, and then Paul Heyman embraces with CM Punk, and Punk says, when it's time, I'm going to call in on that favor. CM Punk and Roman Reigns shake hands. So still a lot is going to be going on here.
Yeah, I mean, I think the match itself overall was good, total story. I thought, the baked in spots you're always going to get with WWE War Games matches are kind of what they are right now. I thought the melodramatic stuff of Punk and Roman was a little bit much, but overall I thought they told a nice story. And the CM Punk Roman dynamic is interesting, much better than what they would have done with Seth Rollins. I don't think they're going to blow this right away, but I think like a Punk Roman match is definitely on the horizon, but it's going to be far away. Like maybe next year SummerSlam.
You think they're final two in the Rumble?
Maybe. Well, the internet's or booking sites say The Rock is the favorite to win the match, but then other people are saying Rock's not even going to be there. I don't know what's going to happen, but I think that favor Punk is asking for is probably going to be for Paul Heyman to side with Roman over Roman eventually when they meet down the line.
Let's see. We shall see. Overall grade for Survivor Series War Games 2024. Marlee.
B-.
I gotta agree. I give it a B- as well. Action was fine. There was nothing terrible.
Not bad. Could have been better.
Women's War Games match was not great. Men's War Games match was decent, and then I like the triple threat match. I think by far of everything else.
Yeah, I think that's been the general conception of the show, that the three-way dance for the IC title kind of stole the show. I'll give it a B- as well. It was fine. Could have been better. Moving on. Outside the ring, Raw and Netflix will not be rated R. I know people are upset, but you got to think about sponsors, and it's a publicly traded company and all these other deals. They had a big presser out in LA. Shout out.
Give me that Becky.
Yeah, Becky was in attendance. Yes, it was Becky, Punk, Rollins, Liv Morgan, Bianca Belair, Cody Rhodes, Triple H, Nick Khan. Shout out Alfred from Pro Wrestling Bits. The homie Alfred was in attendance. So a lot of good stuff from this, and also announced with this, Triple H said that Pat McAfee will be coming back to Monday Night Raw full time.
Yeah, college football pretty much over, at least, the college game day weekly stuff he's got to do on Saturday. So it makes sense. It seems like they were always going to come back later on down the road. And the Netflix, not being Raw, I never put too much stock in that. Like, I can hope that maybe WWE would get a little bit more edgier on Netflix, but they're a publicly traded company. They want to make as much money as possible. The money's in the advertisements, and the advertisements to make the most money are going to appeal to everybody. So.
Absolutely. Marlee, you have any thoughts on Raw going to be family friendly on Netflix or Pat McAfee's return?
I mean, Raw being family friendly on Netflix, yeah, that makes sense because Netflix is a public company. They got to appeal to the masses, advertising, sponsorships, all marketing. Pat McAfee returning, I don't know. I feel like he'd be a better fit on like SmackDown or even NXT, because I feel like the commentary team that they've established, they kind of just found their groove. Give them like a little bit more before you throw somebody else in there. I just feel like Pat, he's kind of evolved past Raw. I feel like he'd be like a breath of fresh air on NXT for sure.
Could you imagine Booker T and Pat McAfee on NXT calling action?
Exactly.
NXT has been on some stuff lately. I mean,
okay, yesterday, I push her to the main roster, put a belt on her, put her in the Royal Rumble, have her. I don't care. That's my GOAT.
For Jada Parker to say, what she said on television, I'm not just talking about the shits, bitches, and dams.
No, that's immediate GOAT. Put her up.
She said, nigga, you hear me? I was like, oh, we just going all for it. Like, it was something when Roman said it on TV, but this took it to a whole other level. Come on now.
Push her to the moon. I don't care.
Hey, Jada,
that's my GOAT.
Listen. I got a black shirt with a yellow M waiting for you. I heard they about to start doing stuff with some indies. Listen. Oasis, whoever I got to speak to. I need that. I just need one night. I just need that one shot, and we golden. We gonna be living our life like it's golden, like a Jill
There you
Scott.
go.
Like we're gonna be living our lives like we in a Queen Latifah movie. Just golden. Yeah, NXT is doing some great work. Deadline this weekend, gonna be some good stuff. Parker and Lola Vice an underground match.
Oh, that's gonna be fire.
Come on now, it's gonna be
Brooke or not, that's gonna be fire.
It is. Saturday night's main event. The second one has been announced for the 25th of January. So it's just about a month shy of the one coming up here in a couple weeks or next week. Good stuff. Good stuff. I'm excited.
Kind of interesting. It's such a quick turnaround. I mean, you got Royal Rumble, what, a week or two after that?
No, the Royal Rumble. Yeah. You're right.
Yeah, of course I'm right. I'm always right. But I mean, you know, they're gonna put presumably probably some title matches on there. So like maybe the Royal Rumble is gonna be like the 2 Rumble matches, and like maybe the title match, or like I don't know how they're gonna stack those shows.
We crown the first ever women's IC champ on there.
That could be an option.
What are your thoughts?
Well, they already have the title
Well,
tournament.
actually, no. I'd say leave the major titles for the Rumble and save the mid-card titles for Saturday night's main event.
Yeah. Mr. Rex, the Hall of Famer, sent us questions.
Who day?
Like 2 weeks ago. I'm sorry. So a couple of these I'll still read because they're still relevant. Could we see Charlotte Flair return to take part in the U.S. Women's Title Tournament? I mean, I think that's been something that's thrown around. I mean, you could do that. Have her come. I mean, I think she'll win it eventually. Because her dad, Ric Flair, not only has the most world titles in history, but he also has the most U.S. championships won. So he can do the first ever father-son or father-daughter. I'm sorry. U.S. champion gimmick. Yeah. Charlotte? What are your thoughts?
I mean, it's the women's U.S. title. I don't have too much. I mean, you know how big of a fan I am of Charlotte. I mean, we need Brian to come back to
need Brian to come back.
Put over his love of Charlotte Flair, because just to even out mine.
Yeah. Then also enough with these Costco guys or whoever the hell they are.
Boom!
I'm too old for this shit.
I still don't know or understand. I feel like it's too far in for me to try and go down that rabbit hole.
Yeah.
Come on, let's a double don't.
What?
I mean, he had a good match. I enjoyed his match, but I feel like it's too far in to delve any farther.
Boom. All right, let's get into Monday Night Raw. CM Punk is out there, says the world is his oyster. Seth Rollins comes out there, and basically he wants to fight, and then they start scrapping. What are your thoughts?
Loved it. That was a great back and forth. Push came to shove. I think the crowd chose CM Punk over Seth Rollins, which put that on the Brandon was right category of people just like singing Seth Rollins song because it's just something to do. And the words back and forth I thought was great. The just Punk eviscerated Seth when he was like, "Look, brother, I don't even think about you, and yet I am all that you talk about, and yet I don't care about you at all." And Seth had like zero comeback.
It's like that for me too. There are people that talk and say things about me. I don't even think about them at all. I forget they even exist. Yeah.
I could look somebody dead in the face that I've known for years and still be like, I don't know you.
Come on now. Marlee and I, we get it. We Punk fans. We understand what's going on this side.
Yeah, that's even outside of being a Punk fan. That's just how I am.
It's just, it's just how we do this. Really good stuff, man. And then Sami Zayn Sami and Jay come out there to kind of break it up. And Sammy and Seth have a little back and forth on the mic. And Sammy, Sammy, says, you're talking about all this stuff, how we teamed with Roman. You created this monster when you put a chair in his back 10 years ago. And then Seth rebuttals, wait, you put a chair in his back a lot more recently than I did. So, kind of
I did see a tweet earlier that said that WWE history is measured BC before chair shot and AC after chair shot. I thought that was pretty clever.
yeah. So how
It's
effective
true.
was the Roman or the Sammy chair shot then?
No, this is the Seth one. Before the Seth chair shot, after Seth chair shot.
Yeah, but I mean, Sammy put a chair in his back too, so I'm like, what?
That was like a little drop.
Little we know how effective.
Seth's was a ripple
Yeah,
effect.
we know how effective the Seth one was because it cost Roman the championship at WrestleMania. What are your thoughts on this, Brandon? The Sammy and Seth of it all.
I thought it was another stellar segment. You know, they do the whole commercial-free first hour, even though they took a commercial like the 40-minute mark. You know, kind of tail ending these segments back to back to make them, you know, make sense was a good time. I thought the Seth and Sammy dynamic was very interesting. It made a lot of sense. They were going back and forth, saying truths that cut to the bone. That would make sense for people to like say. It's like they're not ignoring history; they're accepting it and putting it all out there. So, yeah, a little dynamic, a little three-dimensional characters. You just absolutely love to see it.
Sammy and Seth wrestle each other later on in the show. Drew McIntyre is back. The chosen one has returned. The prodigal son is back. Could we be in a world where we get some sort of alliance between Seth, Drew, and KO, and they go after the people that have helped the bloodline? Huh? Because remember,
we know that's not where we're going.
Remember, Drew's whole thing was, you know, going after the people, the bloodline, because they wronged him. You know, Kevin Owens going after Cody because he helped Roman, a guy that made his life hell for 4 years. Seth Rollins, you know, he already hated CM Punk. And then to see him with Roman Reigns, his other op, to see his two biggest ops on the same page, I'm sure that has to enrage him. You remember when Seth Rollins kind of went crazy during the pandemic when he was taking people's eyes and whatnot? Can we get an even crazier version of Seth Rollins?
Maybe. I mean, I think this sets up a very intriguing Royal Rumble just because you're going to have like a non-champion Roman in there. You're going to have all, you know, his bloodline brothers, his blood, you know, the new bloodline people are going to be in there. You're going to have Drew and Seth and KO and all these other people. Just, I mean, what? They're going to be 30 people in there. Like probably half of them, like 15 are going to be bloodline related.
Come on now. I'm waiting on my ticket. I'm waiting on my number to be called. Yep. I mean, the fantasy booking is endless. I mean, I saw somebody was like, "What if we had Seth, Roman, and Cody?" Or no. What if we had Punk, Roman, and Cody versus Seth, Drew, and KO? I'm like, whoa, you're fantasy booking on WWE 2K, but I love it. I love the ideas. Just drama, drama galore. Speaking of drama, we have to talk about this whole New Day stuff. I did not see this coming. Kicking out Big E, saying you broke your neck, so what? Wow. Mia Yim's sister coming with the clapbacks, calling Xavier Woods' palate childlike. Oh, they are hitting each other. Marlee, what were your thoughts?
I think I said last week that I was on the team that kind of wanted the New Day to split because they just done everything that they needed to do in that 10-year time frame. But yeah, kicking Big E out, that's not what I thought was going to happen. I thought all three of them were just going to take on that heel turn, but yeah, that was a different approach. It was something different for them, which I liked, but they didn't have to kick Big E out while they did it, though.
Brandon, we've covered damn near the whole run of the New Day. You know, we missed the first 3 years. Or we came in at year 3, I think it is, when we started this thing. What are your thoughts on the New Day and kicking out Biggie Langston, Big Editor Langston?
I just absolutely love this segment. I think it's one of the best segments of the year. Going into it, a lot of people were like, okay, it's either going to be Kofi or Xavier turns on Kofi, or Biggie is going to get the band back together, and they're going to kind of hold this together with duct tape and spit, and maybe they'll get a heel turn in a couple weeks. But it was kind of a swerve that was not the prototypical swerve. People didn't see it coming, but it made sense. And Kofi and Xavier being a heel tag team, that seems very interesting. Now, on the surface, I thought the segment itself, fantastic, great. The drama, the story, the everything wrapped up into it, fantastic. Take a step back, it's still the Raw tag team division. Where do they go from here?
Who can elevate the titles like the New Day? They've done it they did it for the Raw titles. They did it for the SmackDown titles. They did it for the damn penny titles. If there's anybody that can elevate some tag team championships, it's the New Day.
I hope so.
Come on now. Yep. Also, we found out that Finn Balor is going to challenge Gunther in Saturday night's main event. We'll talk about that later on. Let's get into AEW. We have a short time window. Brandon. Kyle Fletcher defeated Shelton Benjamin. What the hell is this?
So we got the Continental Classic tournament going on. Started last week.
No.
Into whatchamacallit, Collision, and we got I think this is the Blue League. I don't remember, but yeah, Kyle Fletcher defeats Shelton Benjamin in a fun match. Two heels going at it, but obviously Shelton kind of played the babyface in this one, and Fletcher gets the roll up type win with the leverage on the ropes. And I know Phillip's going to disagree with me, but I think this is the right decision. I personally
why are they wrestling each other in the? I like Kyle Fletcher. Hold on, I'm not gonna do that. I like Kyle Fletcher, but you've been presenting Shelton Benjamin like a killer. He couldn't advance. He couldn't wrestle somebody else. He couldn't beat. Who else is in this?
Phillip, we're gonna have I know we're on a time crunch here, but this is a round robin tournament, so everyone wrestles everybody.
Okay, never mind. Moving on.
Then we had the stupid Dynamite Dozen Battle Royal thing, and what do you know? Kyle O'Reilly and Adam Cole just happened to simultaneously eliminate people at the exact same time, and now they have to wrestle next week to face MJF, and then we had another one of those fake MJF pre-tapes like he's live.
Is it a triple threat?
No, Cole and O'Reilly have to face each other next week, and then whoever wins that then faces MJF at probably World's End.
So then we technically get the Cole and MJF match.
Yep.
Okay. Shane Strickland or Swerve Strickland defeated Max Caster. Okay, that makes sense.
It was a glorified squash match. They're definitely putting over the Max Caster heel turn, and Swerve just basically ran through him, showed his intensity, beat up Caster, and just kind of put some more steam behind Swerve after losing very decisively to Bobby Lashley. So it made sense. And then kind of the biggest match on the night in terms of name power. I don't know why these guys aren't in the Continental Classic. Instead, we got like mid-carders throughout. Is Jay White and Pac. Jay White beats Pac, and then we got the whole schmaltz with Hangman Page showing up. Then we got Moxley and the Death Rider showing up. So definitely looks as though we're going to get some sort of multi-man match at World's End with Moxley, White, Hangman. I mean, I was going to say Darby, but Darby, got killed last week in the Continental Classic, and he's doing that stuff. Yeah.
Claudio defeated Brody King, huh?
Yeah, he did. A little bit of a surprise.
Did he win with the clothesline again?
I forget. I was kind of half paying attention to eating dinner, but
what would you eat?
We had salmon. We did salmon today. Yeah,
like rice, potatoes, greens.
We had potatoes. I chopped them up and then I throw them in the air fryer and all that stuff. But yeah, so Claudio wins. Putting some more steam on the one Death Rider loss and one Death Rider won, so it makes sense. And then we had some other segments throughout. Got some your typical one woman match with Anna Jay and Penelope Ford. So
shout out Penelope Ford.
Respectfully, of course.
Penelope Ford.
Yep. That's it. That's it for it.
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, we're at the end of the year. They're doing the Continental Classic stuff. We're just getting a lot of matches with some sprinkle in build for World's End. We do have Mina Shirakawa and Mariah May next week for the title. Maybe this is when Toni Storm returns, but this whole Mina Mariah May storyline has been just so rushed. so rushed unless we're getting another match at World's End.
Yeah. Any news with Mercedes and Camille?
Camille got laid out on Rampage, so maybe I think the best thing is just Camille leaves Mercedes and then she just comes back as a heel.
I see. We shall see. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that's going to do it for us. So you know where to follow us. Bulletcast on Twitter and YouTube, the Bulletcast on IG. This Saturday, if you're in LA, Pomona, California, the Derby Room, Knox Pro, Rikishi, Black Pearl, Journey Fatu, Juicy Finale, Josefa Parisi, all of them will be there. I'll be there as well. Marlee will be in attendance. I'll pull up, say what's up, buy some merch. Thank you all so much. Be safe and stay dangerous. Yes, sir.
And Mr. No Days Off. Microphone Messiah. Mr. No Days Off. Phil, Brandon, what's good, y'all? Let's go. Bulletcast host. Look, this is the time for us to be great on podcasts. Let you know this is the time and how the vibe lasts. This is the feeling of time and when we on it. You know we got no time for no opponent, just the feeling. This is the time of the greats on everything that we say. You know we about getting paid. Every opinion of wrestling. You know we got the truth in it. Every time you know the